Good evening, scholars, and welcome back to the Restricted Collection, a podcast about tabletop games. I'm your host, the head librarian, Chad, and this evening we are finishing up looking at the Circus Ex Mortis player cards. This is a fan set designed by the Beard, and when I said we, joining me once again is our liaison to the Silver Twilight Lodge, Nick. Good evening, Nick.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing this evening?
Oh, these are my monkeys. This is my circus.
All right, so, dear listener, I asked Nick on the side which class he'd like to discuss next, and
It was
he looked at
unanimous.
all. Yeah, it was unanimous. He looked at all one of his options, and he selected Rogue. No, he selected Mystic.
Back to
So,
Rogue.
but before we get into that, for anyone who's just randomly joining in on part 3 of this, thanks. But we are going to be discussing the player cards for Circus Ex Mortis. This is a fan-made expansion by the Beard. So, important things to note. All of the investigators that came out in this set are kind of dual class. Each investigator has 0 to 3 for 2 classes, but has the requirements that they must have 10 more cards of their primary class than of their secondary class. This expansion also introduces the tension keyword. So assets mostly, but not always, will have the tension keyword and some sort of condition to be met. The easiest one that I can think of off the top of my head from Seekers was tension. Discover the last clue from your location is discovered, so it doesn't have to necessarily be by you. And then once that condition is met, you put a little token on the card to note that the tension requirement has been met and the secondary ability is now active. Sometimes the secondary ability is something completely different. In the instance of Spotlight, it gives you a static +1 intellect, and sometimes the tension ability will modify the primary ability that already existed on the card. If I've got a card with tension in it in play, and I make the tension, and it bounces to hand or is discarded or something, it loses the tension marker. If I play a second copy, it doesn't just get the next tension marker unless that copy is also out while the condition is met. But once the condition's met, it's always active as long as that card stays in play. And then I think the only other thing worth noting is every single card in this set has a level 0 version and an upper level version, ranging from 1 to 3, because if it was higher than 3, no one in this set could take it. So we will be looking at the cards in. We will look at the level 0 version and then immediately look at the leveled version. I think that covers it all. I know that was just me rambling for a bit. Would you like to talk about our dear fire breather?
Arturo Wrangle, the fire breather. He is 4 will, 3 book, 3 fist, and 2 foot. 6/8 for health and sanity. Performer and scholar traded. And as a reaction, after you deal damage to 1 or more enemies via an event, that enemy's location gets -1 shroud until the end of the current phase. Limit once per damage instance.
So if you did a bunch of damage, like hit with a spell, hit with or via an event, hit with an event, hit with another event, that would reduce the shroud by 2 because it's 2 separate instances for everybody until the end of the phase.
Mhm.
Okay.
And notably, if you did like Storm of Spirits, you only would reduce the shroud by 1.
Yes. Okay. So you want to attack things with spells, or not spells, with events.
Yeah, any events, doesn't have to be spells. And then his Elder Sign is +1. The next event you played this round gets -2 cost.
Okay.
Fire is Illumination.
So important to note, he is Mystic Seeker. So he is 0 to 3 Mystic and 0 to 3 Seeker, but he must have at least 10 or more Mystic cards in his deck. Then he has Seeker cards. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say it's a neat effect.
It's a neat effect. It's it's confusing me because okay, so he's mystic, so he wants to have a decent will generally, which he does. He starts with 4. He's got Jim's stat line, so that's something. And then he wants to do damage via events. Okay, so he's kind of combat focused, but then him doing damage via events reduces shroud. But since
Mhm.
it's so he's kind of clue focused, but it also reduces shroud for the end of phase, which means he's also team focused.
I mean, that just makes him kind of flex, right? Like
Yeah.
he's gonna use his will, and whenever he does damage to enemies with events, now the shroud is low.
Um I think it so I'm kind of doing a quick look at um so I'm doing a quick look at the events from Seeker that we looked at because I remember there were a couple that were like, oh yeah, like pyrotechnics. At the start of the investigation phase, deal damage to the attached enemy and discard pyrotechnics. That would trigger his ability, and it would be at the top of the investigation phase, so it would apply for the entirety of the investigation phase.
Yeah, and I mean it's probably
Um,
for the best that he doesn't have like guardian events, because like if he had like access to 1-2 punch, that'd be pretty good.
yeah, I suppose. But I've got a plan, which he needs clues for it to be good. Throw the book at them, he could reasonably use.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm more looking at ways of doing multiple instances of damage with a
yeah.
single event, and that's just not really part of the cards that I
Yeah,
can think of.
it's a it's a weird like limiting it to events is just kind of peculiar.
Yeah, there might be a reason for it in the Mystic cards.
That's fair.
Like,
He gets fire eating as a signature asset. How many copies does he get? He gets 2 copies of Breath of Fire, 1 copy of Fire Eating. Okay, so he gets 1 copy of Fire Eating. It is a 2 cost asset, talent traded, commits for an intellect, agility, and wild. Interesting that it does not commit for a will. His deck only uses 2 charges. After you activate the reaction ability from him, add a charge to Fire Eating. So it replenishes itself. That's nice. During your turn, except during an action, you can spend X charges, where X is half of your location's shroud value, rounded up to a minimum of 1, to discover a clue from your location.
oh, see,
Neat.
I like that. That's fun.
So you play events, which will activate his reaction ability, which will add a charge, not replenish a charge, add a charge to it. That's important. And then it reduces the shroud value, which then lets you fast discover clues.
Yeah,
Okay,
and this
I'm tracking.
and that fast ability does not exhaust it.
This is true, and if it ever has 0 charges, it doesn't just poof.
Yes.
So it doesn't take up any slots.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a point. Okay. His other signature card is Breath of Fire, which is a 2 cost event, spell and trick traded, that commits for a will fist in a wild. Fight. Add your will value to your skill value for this attack. If you succeed, attach Breath of Fire to the target. And it's fast to deal 1 damage to the attached enemy. You may activate this ability from any location. Limit once per round.
Okay, but it still deals a damage when you hit. It doesn't say to replace the standard damage.
Yes.
So you hit a thing and attach a burn effect onto it, but you're really only going to want to do this on something that has like 4 more health.
Yeah.
But you can then just fast trigger it to deal damage to it, which will then have been dealt damage via a thing to trigger your ability to reduce the shroud. Neat. You get
and
two of
add
these.
and then add charges to fire eating if you have it out.
Yeah, I feel like fire eating is a really critical part. Like, I guess I shouldn't say it's a critical part of it. It just smooths everything else out very nicely. He
Yes,
operates fine, but it just smooths it out.
definitely makes things. Definitely gives you a different avenue.
Okay, his weakness is uncontrolled fire, which is blunder traded. A lot of these have been blunder traded.
Oops.
Discard a non-weakness event in your hand, then deal 1 damage to each investigator at your location. If you cannot discard an event, shuffle uncontrolled fire back into your deck. Alright.
Okay.
Money is, in some respects, like fire. It's a very excellent servant, but a terrible master. So I feel like having a single event in your hand isn't going to be that hard of an ask. The more annoying part of this is that it can hit you and your friends out of nowhere.
Yeah, but it deals 1 damage. It's not direct damage.
Sure.
It also
Important to
doesn't have the
note.
normal fire effect that it also doesn't hit all of the allies as well.
Yeah. Important to note, if you cannot discard an event, you don't deal damage.
Yes.
Because there's a then.
No. Nope.
For the then to trigger, the previous statement has to be satisfied.
It's a hard stop.
No, but that doesn't matter. There's a then, so the previous condition has to be met for the then text to matter. So,
Need
at
people to
least my
understand.
understanding of this is
Need people to
because of
understand.
the then.
Implied ifs are bad design templating. Because that is not a conditional like that. There isn't an if before it.
Sure, I'm not putting that on the. I'm not laying that at the feet of the beard.
I understand, but like any person who plays card games would look at this and say it always deals a damage and always discards a card. And if you can't discard a card, it goes back into your deck. That's how I would read this card every single time. Because it's 3 sentences, no questions.
Sure, it is. I might. To be clear, they might have changed it in chapter 2, or I might be misremembering it. But at least my recollection and understanding of the then ruling is, it's usually considered. It's at least been most. The then is for making sure that on like player cards you've paid all the costs. So like, oh yeah, spend 3 charges, then do this. So you have to fully satisfy the costs to do the then.
Yeah,
So I
see,
might
that
be
makes sense
applying
to
it. I might be applying the then rule in a way that it's not intended, but that's just me. I'll try to remember to look into that.
yeah, like if that is the case, then that templating needs to be spelled out pretty much precisely because you can't really imply an if.
Sure.
Like not when you're making statements. Like cuz this then is just sequence.
Yeah.
There's no condition before it. Like it's like effect before period. Like no questions. Like the last sentence is if you cannot discard an event, and then there's an applied then, shuffle this back in.
Yep. I might be misapplying my understanding of the ruling, but whenever I see the word then, I've kind of been trained to like lock in on it a little bit. But regardless of that, the weakness doesn't seem that onerous.
No. The worst thing that happens in my mind, if it's my interpretation of this, is that you just draw when you on an upkeep when you're empty-handed. It's gonna deal a damage to you and everyone else, and then it goes back in the deck.
Yep. Also, you get to choose what you discard.
True.
It's not like Bought in Blood for Leo, where it's like discard an ally from play or discard all allies in hand. No, it just dings you for one.
Yeah.
So, not the worst. And then he only has 6 health, so it's not nothing, but you can work with it.
But there's plenty of soak nowadays for health in Mystics.
Yep. And with all the damage stuff that's come out after him, he's got options.
Yeah. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Interesting. Of all of the investigators that we've looked at, he and the acrobat are the ones that kind of give me the most head scratching of like, how am I supposed to get you to like, I kind of see what you're doing here. Yeah, like I see where they're going, but I have to like sit down with them and try them more so than like I can look at the Guardian, the Seeker, and the Survivor and be like, yeah, okay, I see where you're going with this. A lot more like I see the plan and what to put into it, but figuring out how many events Arturo wants, which events Arturo wants, the balance of Mystic to Seeker, just it's a bit bigger of a question, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I would need definitely for Arturo. I kind of have an idea of how I'd make Lie the acrobat. Um, but I I would need to just work it through,
Yeah,
especially Arturo, just to see kind of like, oh, how much is this? How much value is this actually getting?
yeah, it's just very peculiar to me that he's kind of got one foot in the Mystic pile, one foot in the Seeker pile, one foot in enemy management, one foot in team management. It's just like you're balancing a few things here, and I just want to make sure, and perhaps appropriately, it could be a very volatile combination.
Mhm.
But
Okay, well, let's dig in, shall we?
sure thing.
So our first asset of the Mystics is the Charmer's Punji, which is a 2-cost item and instrument asset that takes up a hand slot. It's for a foot, has 3 charges, and action: search the top 2 cards of your deck for an event and draw it. You may spend 1 charge to search 2 additional cards, and then shuffle your deck. Attention, you play 3 total events in the same round. You may search you may search the top 3 cards of your deck instead when activating the above action ability.
Okay, so all day, every day, you can just look at the top 2 cards of your deck for an event. The charges are only there for additional card search.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then playing 3 events, which isn't the hardest thing to do in the world, just makes it an all day, every day look at the top 3 cards of your deck without having to spend a charge. That's fine.
This is also good in the Fakir, who also get the Guardian,
Yep.
who who can replenish charges.
Yep. Good to keep him in mind while we look through these.
Yes.
Yeah, Mystic doesn't have a whole lot of card draw going for it, so I kind of like this somewhat restrictive card draw.
Yeah. Like, even if you only ever used it mainly for the searching top 4 cards of your deck for 1 card, that'd be worth it.
I yeah, I agree, and I do like that it's supporting non-asset Mystic builds.
That's true. You are a fan.
So it's like, yeah, the problem with those builds is you need to be able to find your events. Well, here's a way to find your events and actually do some decent digging while you're at it without just supercharging and enabling asset builds. So I like it.
Yeah, I think it is good. The level 1 upgrade gives it a will icon and changes the tension ability. Not the tension like condition, but the effect to searching the top 4 cards instead when activating the above ability.
That's for 1 XP, that's I won't say quite good. That's pretty good for 1 XP.
Yeah, it's still a tricky like tension condition,
Yeah, but
but it is good. It's worth the effect. Like if you are reliably triggering the tension, this is probably worth upgrading into.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I would with the mystic spells that shovel themselves back into their one of the no, they return back to your hand, the ones I'm thinking of. But like the upgraded read the signs and spectral razor and whatnot, those return back to your hands. But for just somebody who needs events to fill up their hand, it's like, yeah, once you've triggered this, just be able to action look at the top 4 without spending any charges is not a bad get.
No,
I'm I would
if
consider putting this in Diana Stanley.
you want to know who I would put this in?
Who?
Safina.
Oh yeah, that's a good get for Safina. That's a really good get for Safina.
Be fun. Be a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, even level 0, I wouldn't mind the level 0 in a deck. Like, obviously, level 1's just it, but better. But just for anybody who's just looking at events, like, it's just a solid event get. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Next we have Hermes,
Yeah, I was about this.
Menegatti,
Mhm.
the Master of Puppets. So this is the ally for Mystics. Ally, Performer, and Sorcerer traded. 1 health, 2 sanity. Gives a static book. Which makes sense if your Mystic in this box is off-class Seeker. That makes sense. So you can exhaust him to move an unengaged non-lead enemy from your location to a connecting location, or vice versa. Hey, more enemy movement stuff, which I like.
Yeah, it is as an
This does not.
action.
It is an action, sorry, and this does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Tension. If you control 5 or more clues, the above action can target engaged non-elite enemies. Neat.
Okay.
4 cost for an ally that gives you +1 book in Mystic is okay. I guess the most comparable thing would be shoot, what's her name? Um what is her name? She lets you look at the top card of I just played her in Gloria.
Um, I don't remember her name. Alyssa Graham. Got it.
Alyssa Graham, thank you. The most comparable thing would be Alyssa Graham. The ability here, so exhaust him as an action to move an unengaged non-elite enemy from your location to a connecting location. That's pretty limited.
I am gonna be honest. I think it's pretty weak.
The if you can get the tension, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and granted, like getting the tension isn't like the hardest thing in the world, but like I'm just trying to like
But
imagine a
the
world
action,
where I care.
yeah, but the first action is without the limitation of unengaged. I mean, yeah, I guess it works on whippoorwills, so that's not nothing.
Like
But
it's just not interesting though to me. Like I just don't. I'm not very impressed. I guess. Like
um,
this is of all of the allies. This has been very underwhelming.
I will agree with you that I think it's the most underwhelming of all the allies. Counterpoint, Invisible Wall.
See, I agree with you. Like, there's interplay. Don't get me wrong, there's interplay, but like,
He needs support.
right, like, but like it by itself, right? Like, allies don't always need to be synergy pieces, but like, I haven't just been synergy pieces here. They've been these weird mix of like certain things. I guess the secret one was kind of a niche too, but like, there's they've done interesting things.
Yeah. Okay. Upgraded for 3 XP. He's still 4 cost. He's still an ally and performer and sorcerer traded. He now has an additional intellect icon, and he soaks for 3 horror instead of 2. Still only soaks for 1 damage. You get +1 intellect and +1 agility. I was really hoping he was going to give you a strength or a will on the upgrade, because for Arturo, those are, I would imagine, more relevant stats to him than the
I mean,
agility. And for I don't remember his Terun.
yeah.
Uh, he doesn't really care about his intellect or agility that much either. So I'm curious about the agility.
Well,
His
it's to help him work his own ability.
I guess for the unengaged. So the action on him. Action exhaust him to move an unengaged non-elite enemy from your location to a connecting location, or vice versa. That makes it a lot more
No,
interesting.
that was the same.
I thought, no, oh, it is for or vice versa. Okay, we're gonna rewind real quick about the level 0-1. I like this as a way to pull enemies towards you.
Sure,
For a monster killer, that's actually kind of nice.
I it still has to be unengaged. So like,
Sure,
I do not always find it to be the case where monsters are. That is situational, but I don't disagree with you.
sure. But continuing on, the chosen enemy loses Hunter and cannot have Doom placed on it until the end of the next round. Sorry, until the end of the round. Sorry. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. So if you push something away, it won't hunt this turn,
And can't have Doom placed on it.
which is nice.
Yeah, it's just the most situational out of all the allies.
Yeah. Same tension ability. If you control 5 or more clues, the above action ability can target engaged non-elite enemies, which again is really when it's going to shine for me to be able just to be like, action, grab something off of a friend at a connecting location. I appreciate more the vice versa. I think that is interesting. But it just needs, compared to some of the other allies, just needs a bit more support.
Like, it's just going to be a little more niche. Is the real thing. Like, I think like the others are also kind of niche, but like they for their niche they provide, like, for the Guardian and Rogue ones they provide what is effectively a main class stat boost at level 0,
Yeah.
but then also have interesting utility. The other two, like the Survivor one provides some survivability, and for that, then you get more survivability against the Mythos deck or against encounter
Mm-hmm.
cards. Um, the Seeker one does effectively card draw stuff with traits,
Yep.
and then there's this one, which moves enemies.
It
Like,
has a place.
it's I don't disagree. It's just not what I would have expected.
Yeah. I really wish it gave you something other than agility.
Yeah, I
Like,
kind of just wish that, like, I kind of just like he needed one to give book, and he gave, and the Seeker one gains will. So,
sure.
but I agree with you. I actually just think it should have gained will, and the other one should have gained book.
Like, I really like this guy for those stats in more of my evadey mystics. Like, put it in Marie, which bumps her to, without any other shenanigans going on, 4 will, 5 intellect, 1 fight, and 4 evade. Or 4 agility. Great. Like, so yeah, I don't know if I like him. I like him generally. He has a niche. I just don't know if I like him for Arturo. And I don't know if I like him for
Veteran.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wish he gave a will, but not bad. A little more niche.
Yep.
Okay. Our next one is levitation. Arcane asset, spell and trick traded. Commits for a foot, has 3 charges, and actions spend 1 charge. To move an investigator at your location to a connecting location, and this action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Tension, you move while an enemy is engaged with you, and then you get, when you activate the above ability, each non-elite enemy, engaged with you, engaged with the chosen investigator, gets -1 fight and -1 evade until the end of the round.
Neat. I once again like the movement shenanigans.
That's neat.
Yeah. I
The
just
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Was it the level 1 gives it another charge, gives it a fist icon, and gives the tension effect -1 fight and -2 evade.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, it is fine.
Yeah. For 2 cost, I could see splashing that for group shenanigans very easily.
Yeah. The downside is that it's going to take up one of your arcane slots, so it's like a utility piece that you need to like have other things for.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
But I really
otherwise,
only play this in 3 or 4 players, so ideally I wouldn't have to be cluing and evading and fighting with my spell assets. And if you're playing as Arturo, ideally you're doing some of that with fighting.
yeah,
Or sorry, with evades. Not evades. Events. I know words.
that's good to know.
Next up is the Magician's Wand. 2 cost asset, takes up a hand slot, item and charm traded. And it commits for a will. Uses 2 charges after you activate the action ability on an asset you control that takes up 1 or more arcane slots. Add a charge to Magician's Wand. As an action, spend 2 charges. Fight. This attack uses will instead of strength and deals +1 damage. Tension, if there are 7 charges on Magician's Wand, then activating the above action ability, you may instead spend 3 charges to do +2 damage. So if you're using your arcane slot assets, it just gets charges. And then you use those charges to fight with an item.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
It's like getting to move your charges.
Kind of.
Actually, you don't even need charges on it. You don't need to
No.
spend charges. So your
No, if you just
Cosmic Flames and your second sights will trigger this too.
your enchanted blades.
Yep, anything that just takes up an arcane slot and
Yep.
has an action ability on it.
Yeah.
Well, that is neat.
It doesn't give you a bonus to hit, but it does let you. Well, it forces you to sub your will for your strength, which for most mystics is a bonus.
Yeah, because they're going
There's
to
a
be
level
their will anyway.
Yeah. There's a level 2 version of this that gains a strength icon. It's still 2 cost, still item asset, still item and charm traded. And then it's still same way to get charges on it. You can spend 2 charges to fight still, using will instead of strength, but you get +2 will. And it has the same ability of if there are 7 or more charges on it. Actually, no, it's just if there are 7 charges on it. You have to hit exactly 7
Yeah, but
to trigger the tension.
be
But
hard
you
to
can
steal.
spend, yeah. So I don't think that's actually. I think that's pretty decent
Yeah,
for what
solid.
it is.
That's a solid level 2.
Yeah, it's a nice in faction asset for attacking
Yes.
while still being very mystic.
Yeah, I like this. This is cool. And we can just keep kitting out Dexter Drake in his actual magician's regalia.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad Dexter Drake card,
It
honestly.
isn't. Okay, our next one is a seeing stone.
I see it.
Oh, you found it.
It's right there.
Oh. It's a 3 cost
Sorry.
accessory asset that is item and occult traded. Commits for a book. And has in reaction when the round begins or when Seeing Stone enters play, name a trait. After an investigator draws a card with the chosen trait, exhausts Seeing Stone, an investigator reveals that card and heals 1 horror.
Okay.
And tension.
I have
Sorry.
a question, but finish your read. Sorry.
Tension. If there is 5 or more doom in play, when activating the first reaction ability on Seeing Stone, you may name 2 traits instead.
I mean, for a heal card, this seems pretty good.
It's solid.
I don't. I trust that it works the way that it's supposed to, but there's like a part of me in the back of my head of just like, how can you trigger the reaction ability in if somebody else draws a card without having it first revealed to know that it has the trait for you to trigger the reaction ability?
Well,
But ignoring that.
it's effectively the game state checking itself.
Yes.
So, like, it's
It's
entirely reasonable because the game doesn't know a trait of a card drawn until you show it.
yeah. It yeah, it seems really obvious what the if nothing else how it is supposed to work, even if I could quibble over the language. But I also don't know if I'm just being a snarky person by quibbling over the language in that way. But
Yeah,
ignoring that, I like
I
this.
think it's a natural enough language that it's pretty easy.
Yep.
It's neat.
Yeah, I like it as a heal card. I think it's a good cost for it. I think it's interesting because it makes you know what your deck is, or if you're trying to heal other people,
I mean,
what their deck is.
it doesn't have to be based on your deck.
Exactly.
No, I mean the encounter deck.
Oh, I had not considered that.
I told you that Morris Robinson brain is in here. It's
Yeah, it just draws a card.
draws a
Neat.
card with a trait.
That's neat. I like this. It's not going to go into every deck, but it's neat.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a heal card. I kind of wish that it gave me more positive tempo, but for a heal card, it's a good one.
Yeah, the problem with Mystic accessory cards is one, there's a good amount of them, and two, a lot of them give you a stat boost and or soak.
Yeah, and
So
this does neither. It gives you
Yeah.
pseudo soak in the healing.
Yeah. It's good. It's
Yeah.
just the competition's a little fierce.
Yeah. There is a level 2 version that gives a will icon. Ah, at the second reaction turns to exhaust it to reveal that card to heal a horror and gain a resource,
That's nice.
and that's it.
That's that's nice. I'm not sure that's 2 XP nice, but that's still real nice.
I would have liked it if the cost got reduced with the upgrade.
Yeah, 2 cost, but 5 or more Doom's not that hard to do in most situations.
It's just gonna happen naturally.
Yeah. Unless you got a bunch of low Doom threshold cards, but then that's a scenario problem, not a you/your deck problem.
Yeah, I just wish it was a little cheaper because I think then it would. I or I wish the level 0 did heal a horror or gain a resource, and then the level 2 does and.
Sure. Yeah, the level 0, I'm more apt to use the level 0 one than I am to use the upgraded one. Not that the upgraded one is bad. It's just for 2 XP. I'm not sure. I it's a little much for 2 XP.
Yeah, that is, I guess, all I'm trying to get at is I just think that it's not gonna stand up to the competition.
Yeah. Though, wait a minute. To be fair, it's really not a bad splash card. Like Daisy could take this. I don't usually have a good Seekers. I tend to have a problem with finding something for their accessory slot. That's not a bad pick for Daisy. She
That's
doesn't really
true.
need the will boosts. This lets her do horror healing, which helps her with the Necronomicon. It can help with resource gaining, which is just generally useful.
I mean, sure,
Okay,
I don't disagree with that. It's just like I said, I just kind of wish the level 0 did or, and then the level
sure.
2 gave an and. Like that to me, I think would have made this card like a relatively pretty competitive. Like it would be you'd see the obvious home for it.
Okay. Next up is Wheel of Fire.
We
It's a 4 cost arcane asset, spell and trick traded. A lot of things are spell and trick traded.
Well, yeah, because we're at a circus.
Yes, but that also means that Rita is getting a lot of this stuff that we hadn't been calling out.
Sure,
There's a lot of trick stuff we've talked about that
sure.
Rita has access to now.
I don't disagree with you.
Hmm.
Uh, for the most part, it's fine.
Yeah, nothing's jumped out at me as like, oh my goodness, this would be so broken in Rita, but I also have difficulty building Rita decks. Uses 6 charges. Sorry, it commits for a strength. I should have mentioned that. Uses 6 charges. Action, spend a charge, fight. This uses will instead of strength. This attack deals +1 damage for each other time you have activated this action this round, to a max of +3. So the first time you activate this, it does 1 damage.
Deals 2
The
damage.
second,
Oh no,
this
you're right.
attack,
It's one done. It does one. Yeah, you're right.
um, so assuming that you max out at 3 actions like normal people, you will do 1 damage with the first attack, 2 damage with the second attack, and 3 damage with the third attack, for a total of 6 damage. That's not bad, assuming you hit all 3 times. Tension. If you successfully attack with the above action ability with 6 or more will and or wild icons committed, the above action ability ignores the aloof keyword.
Okay.
I mean, that's nice. I think the card is worth 4 as is, though.
I think it
Because,
is fine.
yeah, it's a fine It's a fine attack spell.
I
Also,
think it is inconsistent.
it does +1 damage even if you failed the previous attack,
I don't. Yes, I agree with that. It's just
which okay.
like normally for spell assets, you're given plus to hit and plus to damage like a gun.
Not at level 0.
That held for shriveling, not always for the other.
I'm hard pressed to think of a level 0 attack asset spell that gives you a bonus to will, because the bonus is that you get to use will instead of strength.
Maybe that's true.
At level 2 or 3, they usually get +2 will, and at level 4 or 5, they usually get +3 or 4 will.
I always forget that Mystic does this
Yeah.
because it always makes these level 0 spells seem bad.
I also like Wheel of Fire for uh, the Fakir.
Sure. Like I said, I don't dislike the card. I kind of wish it dealt extra damage and then built up, but just because being able to do 1 damage with a charge feels like a wasted action.
Sure, I'm not going to disagree with you there. It's very problematic for 2 health enemies,
Yeah.
but it's real good for 3 health enemies.
Okay, but that doesn't solve. It doesn't solve the problem though of 3 health enemies in Mystic.
No, it doesn't.
All you did was make the curve less painful by making the card worse.
I guess I'm considering Wheel of Fire as I'm considering Wheel of Fire as your, like, in a multiplayer setting, like I'll run Wheel of Fire and you're running something that does 2 damage. That way, if it only has 2 health, you can efficiently deal with it. If it has 1 or 3 health, I can efficiently deal with it, while saving, say, bullets on your end. I don't know. I guess I prefer it over regular shriveling, even though it costs 1 more, because I get extra charges out of it, and it doesn't have the chance of burning me. And I can manipulate it to deal with different enemy counts or different enemy health values. I'm not saying it's
Like I
like
said, I just
super amazing.
like I said, I just feel like you get extra charges, but you're going to be burning those charges on what are going to be effectively practically wasted attacks anyway.
Yeah, depending on the situation, yeah.
That's my problem with it. Like, it does not solve the shriveling problem of it dealing 2 damage against a 3 health enemy. It just is the same thing in a different way. And now you give it 2 more charges, but guess what? You're gonna have to attack 2 more times. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like it solves the problem. I mean, it works in combination with the wand,
Sure.
but then
It's
you're not building up the wheel of fire. So like, I don't know. I'm just not like, I am not wowed by this.
I want to be clear, I'm not saying that I'm particularly wowed by it either, but like for a 3 health enemy, you have to spend 2 charges off of your shriveling, and you'd have to spend 2 charges off of your wheel of fire. For a 4 health enemy, wheel of shriveling for a 2 or 4 health enemy, shriveling is more efficient. For a 1 or 3 health enemy, wheel of fire is more efficient.
It's not though.
It's more efficient because I'm still having to spend 2 charges, and I'm getting the same boost to hit, which is to say using my will instead of my strength, but I have more charges to deal with the 1 and 3 health enemies.
Just saying, I don't think you gain that much, especially
Sure.
considering the extra resource let you lose playing this, and for what, and for, and unless the enemy spread is favorable, I don't think Wheel of Fire is that much better.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm saying that it has a different, like a roughly equivalent different to
I'm
it. Is
saying that
kind of
that is too marginal.
fair enough. Um, a good boss weapon, if that's what you want it for. But
I don't
that's
disagree with that at
that's a
all.
niche application.
I mean, it is a good boss weapon. It is a good boss killing spell, especially if you can get some extra actions.
Yeah. But let's talk about the level 3 version. um, it gains an agility icon. It's still 4 cost. It still has 6 charges. You get +2 for will for this attack, and it deals +1 damage for each other time that you've activated it. And it has the same tension of if you use the above with 6 or more will or wild icons committed, it ignores the aloof keyword. For 3 XP,
Not nearly good enough for 3 XP.
I mean, it's in line with shriveling, but I also don't particularly think the leveled up shriveling's that great.
Shriveling didn't make it to chapter 2, Chad.
That's fair. This was made in a pre chapter 2 world, which does make it.
Shriveling was a bad model to base spells on.
So now we're comparing it to Cosmic Flame. It does. I will agree that the upgraded version pales in comparison to Cosmic Flame, but there to be as fair as possible, there isn't a mid-level Cosmic Flame.
Okay,
It's only 0 or 5, but
so I agree with that. But my point is to make this worth 3 XP, you needed to start the snowball faster.
yeah, it's dishing out damage at the same rate.
Like, it's not worth 3 XP for just the +2 will to attack.
Yeah. It's in line. I agree with you that it's not worth it. But in total, but as we said, in fairness, it is in line with previous shriveling, but that's not a
That's
good
not
model
better.
anymore. Yeah.
It wasn't a good model then.
Yeah, I didn't love upgraded shriveling. Alright, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Now to the things we care about for Arturo, the mystic events. Is this your card? Is a 3 cost augury and trick event. Commits for a foot and a book. Lets you look at the top 4 cards of the encounter deck. For each enemy at the looked at cards, deal 2 damage to each copy of that enemy in play. Each treachery in the looked at cards, discard each copy of that treachery from play. And return the cards to the top of the encounter deck in any order.
All right, Mister
Cool and Gloria.
Mister. Yeah, I guess you get to look at 5. Um,
And like it lets you like know, like you'll probably know what's coming so that you can like manage that more. Morris can't use this, so like I don't know what to say. Like,
so so the card that this makes me think of is Otherworld Codex. And to be totally fair, I like Otherworld Codex. But I almost never play it because it's like Otherworld Codex, sorry. 3 cost, 2 XP, uses 3 secrets. Exhaust Otherworld Codex and spend a secret to search the top 9 cards of the encounter deck and choose a non-elite card among them. Discard a copy of the chosen card from play. Shuffle all of the search cards back into the encounter deck. this does a lot of things different, to be 100% fair, but it's the
Mhm.
thing that was most comparable in my mind. And it's like, Otherworld Codex is fine, level 2. It costs the same, and you have to spend actions individually to do it. But, like, I prefer being able to search 9 to find one thing that I know will work, rather than search 4 and it just feels like such a gamble to just look at 4 cards and see what you find.
I don't disagree with that. Um,
Especially for 3 costs. I'm just like, it's expensive.
yeah. In a trick-focused Safina deck with Chuck Fergus, you can do some fun
Oh,
things with
sure.
it.
I mean, it
That's
is
pretty
level 0,
narrow.
so, like,
Yeah,
I'm okay with it being a little obtuse.
yeah, like most auguries at level 0, they are kind of odd, but the effect is neat, and, like, you get a lot out of it. Like, at the bare minimum, you're getting to look at the top 4 cards of the encounter deck.
Yeah, and putting them back in whatever order you want. And if you find stuff that match, for each thing that you find that matches, you can do something, which is good.
Yeah, it's a little expensive, but outside of like if this was a cheaper event, like let's just say like if this costed 1, how would you feel about it?
I'd be much more willing to take the risk, honestly.
Yeah, and that's what
I
I think is the main problem with it. I think it's just a little too expensive for the possible payout.
Yeah, like if what I wanted out of this, if what I wanted was just to look at the top cards of the deck and rearrange them, I'd play Parallel Fates. To be totally fair, level 0 Parallel Fates kind of sucks because you have to draw a token, and if you draw an Elder Cultist, Skull Cultist Tablet or Elder thing, you have to shuffle it back in as opposed to putting it back, which is why I just do not play that one because it just is such a feel bad to action look at the top 6, figure out how you're rearranging them, and lose it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
So like this gets the advantage of it just works. You get to look at 4 and it just works. So like credit where credit is due. It's just for if in a 4-player game, I guess the odds are better that you're going to know the deck composition a little bit more and be able to count cards and find something that matches. Like, sure. It just, for a 1 or 2-player game, this is way too expensive for me to want to play, even if I like what it's doing.
The thing is that for a 1 or 2 player game though, you do get to see 4 cards of the encounter deck.
Sure, I guess, yeah, that is fair.
And
If
like
this
knowing
was
2 Mythos phases is really good.
if this was 1 cost or 2 cost, I'd be way more forgiving. At 3 costs, I'm like, this just kind of feels like just too expensive for
And
the for
that's
the
kind of what I'm
benefit.
looking for. I think the card is good. I just think it's a little expensive, which is why I bring up Safina because she has the money, the reliable money to not care so much about its higher cost.
Well, and with Chuck, you can reduce the cost and or make it fast.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. But I more was just talking about Safina for that. But like specifically in a Chuck Fergus deck is really good.
Yeah.
It also
And
works really well uh in my investigator too. But in my cheat, that's another
yes,
story.
yes. It also, isn't bad for Dexter who can get the money to pay it.
Yeah. So like, there's some homes for it. You just need to be able to like make it work. And with like the I have got to know Thoa, you can kind of make that work. But
Yeah. I
without like too
Again,
much
I like
investment.
what it does. I
Yeah,
just
it's there. I
I'm
guess is
also
what
just generally risk averse like this.
yeah.
Like,
Now the level 3 adds a wild icon. Lets you look at the top 8 cards of the encounter deck, and that's it.
but yeah, the same text of for every matching card. That is way more playable for me.
I don't disagree. Like that's quite good. That's quite strong.
Yeah. For 3 XP, you're getting a wild icon and looking at twice as many cards.
And in Gloria, you get to look at 9. There, you got to search 9.
Yep. I should put Otherworld Codex into my Daisy deck. It is a tome, so
That's
might
true.
as well. A lot of my complaints with the level 0 version are solved here, where I get to look at 8, and like it's a lot easier to find matching. It's 8 cards that you get to rearrange, which is real good. Level 2 Parallel Fates lets you go 6 deep. For 1 XP and 3 cost, you get to go 8 deep and also anything that matches. And then yeah, I'm prefer this version of it.
Level
If I'm
3
probably
is
gonna
the level 3 is quite good.
Yeah, if I'm gonna play one of these, it's probably gonna be the level 3 version. Um, yeah, just yeah, I
Down the
wouldn't
rabbit hole you've
even
been.
mind this one at 2 cost, 3 XP but 2 cost, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think this. I love the information gaining cards, so I always have a soft spot for effects like this. So I think the level 0 one is pretty good. Um, it's just a little expensive, but the level 3 I think makes it way more playable.
Yeah. All right, next up is Nothing Up My Sleeve, a 2-cost Gambit and Trick Traded card. Please note for all the Gambit cards, parallel skids could take it. Fast, play at the start of the investigation phase only if you have 3 or more cards in your hand. Put Nothing Up My Sleeve into play in your play area and place each card in your hand face down beneath it. You get +1 to each of your skills, but cannot draw cards. Ha, because there's nothing up your sleeve. Forced at the end of the round, discard Nothing Up My Sleeve and draw each card beneath it.
And it
Neat.
is, and you have to have 3 more other cards in your hand when you play this.
Oh yeah, other cards. Sorry. So at least 4 cards before you play this.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. It's also nice to have Mystic support for off skills or off will skills.
It's there. It's a thing.
Yeah. And if your
I
cards aren't doing you much.
I don't have too much more to say other than that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It
What I was just
I was
gonna
gonna
let
say it helps you with any time that you have to combine your skills. Like it'd be really good for circle tests, but that's scenario dependent.
yeah.
Nothing Up My Sleeve level 3. Fast, play at the start of the investigation phase only if you have 2 or more other cards in hand, so you need to have at least 3 cards before you play this. Put it into play with each card beneath it. You get +2 to each of your skills, and at the end of the round, discard it and draw each card beneath it.
Okay.
Why? I'm trying to think of why this needed to be 3 XP.
Probably just to get it out of other people's hands.
Fair. I like it.
It's
I
fine.
mean, it's fine. It's not blowing me away, but if you just really need stat boost for a turn, it's a really good stat boost card. And if you really just want to commit it, it's not bad for committing.
Yeah. It's it's interesting, and I don't know how much more to say other than that.
Yeah. I do really like it for the flexible use of your non-will stats. Like to draw on Marie again. It's like, oh, I really need to evade something this round. Like that's the big thing I need to do this round is I need to evade and get away. Well, that's 2 of my 3 actions right there. So I'll play this or the level 0 version to get my agility to 4 or 5. That way, because I don't have the icons in hand necessarily, and I could commit this theoretically for the leveled up version for 2 agility, but if I use it for this ability, well, then I have 2 times at 5 stat to try to get out of it, and maybe some other shenanigans on your board. So I like it. It has a place.
Like I said, I think it's fine.
Sure.
Our next event is duplication, a 3-cost event, ritual and trick traded. Commits for a book and a foot. Choose an item asset controlled by an investigator at your location. Its owner searches their deck and discard pile for another copy of that asset by title and draws it. Shuffle that player's deck if it was searched.
Huh. I'm of two minds about this card.
Okay.
The first mind is that is too expensive for what it does. Like, just 3 costs to just perfect tutor something that exists in play. It feels really expensive as an initial like read of it. But the more that I'm sitting with it, I'm like, but you can just get it out of the discard pile.
It does recur it, but it puts it in your hand.
Yeah. Which for level 0 I'm okay with, but it kind of has the same problem. Like another thought on the too expensive end of it, it has the same problem as like prepared for the worst or right tool for the job. Yeah, it gets you the thing at the cost of an action, but it also gets you the thing at the cost of some money, which in like a guardian sense is going to be a big item that's going to cost you a pretty penny, and guardians and mystics aren't particularly good at money.
I do kind of wish this was cheap. Like I wish this cost you 1.
Yeah, I'm okay with it being 2, but I think 3 is just a little expensive, but it is the thing you want even from your discard pile, which isn't nothing.
It does work up for on anyone as well.
Yeah,
I just don't know. I just think 3 is too much.
sure. Does the upgraded version solve it?
Um, Level 2, it's a foot icon. Choose an item, searches their deck discard pile for that, draws it, and plays it, paying its cost. 3 is still too much.
I mean, it's not that bad if it's used on somebody else, but it's a +3 cost if you use it on yourself.
Like normally things like this would have like given a discount.
It I'm also just going to assume that the intent is that if I choose not to play it or I can't play it, then I just keep it in hand. But it doesn't say may play it. You draw it and play it.
Yeah,
So
well,
like,
if you can't play it, it still just sits in your hand.
yeah, I'm assuming that's how it works. Like, I understand that like a find something tutor is very powerful, but it requires you to have a copy of it in play already.
Like
So,
this isn't really like a perfect tutor, right? Like a tutor wouldn't care about any other conditions. Like a
um,
perfect tutor does not care about conditions.
you know why this card? You know why duplication's not good?
Why?
Lucid Dreaming. 1 cost, 2 XP. Choose a card in your play area or reveal a card in your hand to search your deck for another copy of that card and draw it, then shuffle your deck.
Oh wow. That's just removal.
Fully admitting that it only works on you. Lucid Dreaming only works on you, and it only pulls it from your deck. But like it does what it has this effect that duplication is doing in a very similar way, but duplication is more expensive, can work on anybody, and can pull from the discard pile. which I'm
And
not saying those
and
aren't.
duplication only works on items.
Yeah, duplication only works on items. Duplication does give you the option to play it in its upgraded form. But it's just like I kind of wish this duplication. Lucid Dream is a card I like never play.
I had literally never heard of it until now, and it's from Dream Eaters.
Yeah, it's not a bad card if what you're looking for, like its original intent. I would imagine because it came out in Dream Eaters, is it's supposed to help you find your myriad cards.
Yes, and that makes sense.
But like duplication, like fine, it's more flexible than lucid dreaming in some regards, but I like lucid dreaming has the advantage of reveal a copy from your hand even.
Yeah,
So like
I just don't
yeah.
like if it's just too expensive in a faction that, especially at the time this came out, wasn't like money hungry. And like, how many how many times do you need to pull an item that you already have out from your deck or discard pile and play it when you have Mystic
Not
access?
super often.
Like
Usually I build
specifically when you have
redundancies.
Mystic. Well, but specifically when you have Mystic access.
Also fair. Yeah, I'm
Like, I'm just
not
trying to think. Like, Patrice?
okay, maybe. But you have to have a copy of whatever it is you're looking for in play.
True, but at least like you're likely to find it within the first couple
Sure.
turns.
But like if I'm playing Patrice, I'm just gonna, especially if it's a survivor card that I'm trying to recur, I have ways to recur it.
Right, and that was what I was about to say. It's like, but I just have ways of recurring it.
Yeah, if this was in Rogue, for example, if there was like a similar thing in Rogue where it's
There
just
is
like,
already a similar thing in Rogue, and it's better.
what are you
It's called Dirty
friends of the play?
Deeds.
Oh, Dirty Deeds. Oh yeah, Dirty Deeds. I don't know. But to be fair, Dirty Deeds takes two actions. Um,
It, no, it looks for an illicit item and lets him immediately use it, ignoring all costs.
yeah,
Like
but like you don't.
I just get to pull out a Lupara and use it. Like that immediately takes the action, the extra action that you use, and makes it work.
Yeah,
Like,
search your deck for a listen card, play it, paying its cost, then resolve an action or free trigger ability, ignoring all costs. And it
and
does not provoke attacks of opportunity.
like I know it's a double and it takes one more experience, but like I guess it doesn't pull from the discard pile. But I'm just saying, like, you're Mystic. How many magic items are you really working with?
Yeah, mystics aren't really known for their like. Mystics aren't really known for having disposable items.
So in my
You
mind,
know,
this like specifically is like a Dexter Drake card.
sure, but it's yeah, it's pretty much only. Like I guess it's not terrible for splashing with like a rogue. Like Safina could. I hate to keep relying on Safina, but
But not
Safina
really.
could do something with this.
Not really. What items? What items do you care about?
But I'm saying in like a team function
Sure.
because you could not to rely on Chuck Fergus again, but you could fast and or cheapen it, and then you make it so that your friend Guardian, who spent all the bullets off of his gun, can retrieve his other gun and play it immediately at cost for them. But like that's not a bad use case, but it's I don't love it.
I would prefer cards to also work for me.
Yes, the fact that I really wish it like reduced its cost or something.
Yeah.
Because 3 is just so expensive.
Yeah. Or if it worked on like not just items. But we've talked enough about this.
Sure. But yeah, future reference, lucid dreaming's a thing.
Yeah.
And it's not an attack spell, but it is a spell event if you want to throw it into your Tony Morgan spellcaster deck.
Nah, nah. I got enough spells.
Yeah. Lucid dreaming. I I have considered it for some decks, so it has its place, but I do not play it often. Fire walking, 4 cost uh, event, spirit and trick traded. So, well,
Calvin.
Rita can take it, and shoot, what's his name? The
Calvin.
cursed
Calvin.
Calvin. Thank you. Calvin can take it, and to be totally fair, Hank can take it. Does this redeem Hank in my eyes? Put firewalking into play in your play area. It's at fast. 4 cost fast, commits for a will and an agility. After you leave a location, deal a damage to each enemy at that location. Forced at the end of the round, discard firewalking.
A neat
Ha!
effect.
No, the other kind of firewalking. I feel like I'm missing the joke.
Not sure what it's supposed to mean either, to be honest with you.
Firewalking. So a an act of walking barefoot over a bed of fires. Yep. Firewalking types. Walking over a pathway of hot stones or other heated objects. Yep. If there is a different type of firewalking that I am just overlooking,
I think this is supposed to be definitely a literalist sort of joke.
Okay. Sure. For Arturo, this ain't bad.
It's expensive, but if you can make it work to get a bit of damage, it'll work out for you. You get access to Pathfinder in Arturo, so you can just go zipping.
Yeah, it's fast. It's expensive for what it is, but it is a bunch of testless damage if you can just walk around, and it doesn't care if the enemies are aloof or not.
Yeah, or if they're elite, and it's AOE damage.
Yeah. So as long as you're okay with the attacks of opportunity, theoretically.
Or just being able to have fast movement.
Yeah, it is expensive though. What does the upgraded version do? Upgraded is 3 XP, gains a wild icon. Still fast, still put into your threat area after you enter or leave a location, as opposed to just when you leave. Deal a damage at that location, max 1 location per movement.
That's fair.
So you can rake them over the coals. Sure.
I like this.
It's
Outside of
expensive.
it's expensive, but it is also fast.
Yes. And it can do a lot of damage in the right situation. Funnily enough, wait, I don't think it works. I don't think it works, but let me double check. Balancing Act. Attach any number of assets you control to Balancing Act. Never mind. Balancing
I
Act
told you.
doesn't help.
I told you it only works. That's why I was so confused about it, because it only works on assets.
Look, I'm trying.
I get it. But yes, I would agree. This would be cool for all these cards that have done these sorts of things. Where if you can if you could finagle them with Balancing Act, that'd be cool. But alas,
Alas.
because if it worked on cards in your play area, oh no, because your threat area is not your play area, so it would not work on those. Okay, so that's fine.
But for what it's worth, this kind of just reminds me it's not dynamite, but it can spread a bunch of damage depending on how fast you can move. But this feels like you're only going to play this if you've got like rogue access for some free movement.
Or Seeker access. Or
Seeker
now
access.
even Survivor access.
Sure.
Or if you're a drifter. Okay. Our next one is, and for our next act, we have Impaling Swords. Well, this is a little less of a trick in the art. Okay.
It's not an asset, and it is not item traded.
Yeah. Huh? A 1 cost spell and trick event commits for a will and a fist. Fight. Add your will value to your skill value for this attack. If you succeed, you may repeat this attack on any enemy at your location with +1 difficulty for each time you have already performed this test during this action. Max 3 attacks. Here's a good card for Arturo.
I really like that. Not only is it a way to use a spell event for 3 damage, but it, as you just said, they're all separate instances of damage for Arturo.
That's neat.
That's real good.
And plus, it's adding your skill value, so you get
Oh
to
yeah,
you can you have to commit fists and do all that. So
it gets read at a 6.
it does. You're right.
Sorry, now that I'm like on the trick train, I'm looking at with the lens of Rita.
Yeah, that's a cool card. The level 2 upgrade adds a fist icon and lets you go up to 5 attacks.
That's still pretty good. Because you can split the attacks up as you want to.
Yeah, it's just that the 5th attack is going to have a +5 to its difficulty.
I think just +4 if I read it right.
Oh, you are correct. Yes, +4.
Sure. I was rereading it to just you said 5 in my mind, like, oh, the max is +4. That was me just being like making sure I understand how this works.
Nope, you are correct.
Yeah, no, I really like this. As just
Yeah,
like a way to do shenanigans.
this is a cool card.
Mirror Image is next. It's spell and drumroll, say it with me, Trick Traded.
Yay!
It's a 3 cost event. Commits for a strength and agility. Put into play in your play area. When an enemy attack or treachery would deal any amount of damage or horror to you, place 1 of that damage or horror on Mirror Image. Max 3 tokens on Mirror Image. Okay. Tension. If there are 3 tokens on Mirror Image gains fast, discard Mirror Image, automatically evade a non-lead enemy at your location.
Oh,
So, when an enemy attack or treachery would deal any amount of damage or horror on you, you may place 1 of that damage or horror on Mirror Image. So, effectively, it's
it's not a May.
healing. It's like absorbing the damage.
The reaction, so it's a May. But yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
What?
I talked myself out of saying something.
Okay. And then once there are 3 tokens on it, you can just automatically evade a non-lead enemy at your location by discarding it.
I mean, it's solid.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that it can just sit there and absorb a damage for... It doesn't even exhaust.
Nope. But it does only
Just...
work on enemy attacks or treacheries.
Yeah, but every time you take an enemy attack or a treachery while this thing is out, it just absorbs 1 of the damage or horror.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, to a max of 3 tokens. There
Yes.
we go. Sorry, I'm like, where's the limit on this? There it is,
Yeah.
max of 3 tokens. It has a limit. Great, sorry. I'm like, why would you ever discard this? It can just absorb all day long. No, it can't.
Yeah, when it's full, then you get to use it to evade a non-lead enemy. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that it's a spell effect without taking up an arcane slot.
Yeah.
All right, the upgraded version is 1 XP.
It goes to 4.
And it just goes to 4 tokens. Everything else is the same. If there are at least 3, if there's at least 3 tokens on it, it gains the fast discard to
Once
automatically
it hits
evade.
3 tokens, the tension triggers, and then it's fine. But
Yeah, I like it.
yeah,
It's interesting.
it's reasonable soak. It's just conditional.
Yeah, and it's not forced, so you can, like, if you're much weaker on
Good for
health than you
Taru.
are sanity, you can pick and choose.
Good for our guardian.
Yeah, it is.
Uh-oh. We have the naming problem again, Chad.
Oh no!
Our next card is Prestidigitation, but this time it's purple. It's a 1-cost spell and trick traded event. Commits for a will and a book. Choose any number of assets you control that use charges, secrets, ammo, or supplies. And move up to 3 resource tokens between any of the chosen assets.
That's neat.
I
That's
mean, I like the
really
effect.
neat. Sorry, what did you say?
I was just saying, I like the effect. I think it's a good effect.
Yeah, I really like it.
It lets you
Just,
turn things into other things.
yeah, normally that's a premium, but this just lets you, amongst your stuff, do whatever you want. That's really good.
Yeah, that's a reliable effect. And is useful off class as well.
Yeah. It doesn't create new tokens, but
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah, but this I could definitely see myself putting this into a putting like one of this in any kind of level 0 deck that's going to be using a bunch of tokens.
Yeah.
I can shuffle around the tokens as I need them
Yep.
because I don't think I'll be using it more than once probably. But when I want this, it'll be there.
Yeah, and as is, it still commits for a will or an intellect, which isn't bad.
Yeah. The level 1 is fast and plays during any fast window.
Yeah, that's good. You just made it easier for me to use it. Great, I love it.
Yeah.
All
How much
right.
more to see?
Yeah. Do you just want to move some things? I mean, it incentivizes playing a bunch of things that have a bunch of tokens, but just like I could throw out my Scroll of Secrets and yes, not use it for its super amazing effect, but just transfer all the tokens over to something that I care about, like recharging my spell or recharging my or re-ammoing my gun.
Yeah.
Like it,
Sorry. I just have to laugh because Arkham build gets confused. So I'm looking at the level 1 prestidigitation, and then
okay.
in the other levels it shows the level 0 rogue prestidigitation.
Oh, yep.
Sorry, sorry. I couldn't. I had to. I chuckle at it. That's
This
all.
came out first.
I know. I just chuckle at it because Arkham build gets confused because like that's how
Yeah.
it works. Like you do it by title. So technically, like technically, you could upgrade into it. It just doesn't matter.
Yes, but also technically you could not include both the two copies of the green prestidigitation and 2 copies of
Right.
the purple one.
Yeah. I know. So
Technically. But I'm
it
not
just
going
makes
to
me
enforce
chuckle. That's
that.
all. Just made me chuckle.
Yeah. Next up is Rope Trick. 2-cost ritual trick. Go figure, it's trick traded. It's Rope Trick that's trick traded. It's an event. Commits for a will
Can
and
you
an
imagine if it
agility.
wasn't trick traded? If this was the only thing that wasn't trick traded?
That would be funny. Rope Trick. Sorry, Rita. It says trick in the title, but not in the traits. Um, I don't know why, but I actually like leaned back and did a finger waggle while I was doing that voice because this is visually recorded, of
Yeah.
course.
Just like how we're an art
Uh,
podcast.
yes, just like how we're an art podcast. Attach rope trick to your location, level 1 per location. When the enemy phase begins, exhaust rope trick. Non-elite enemies cannot attack you until the end of the round. Sure. Any investigator at the attached location can activate this ability. Okay, so you put it into play at 2 cost, and then as a reaction when the enemy phase begins, anybody can trigger it to prevent non-elite enemies from attacking whoever triggered it.
Mhm.
And then forced at the end of the round, you must either spend 1 resource or discard it. That's interesting and fine.
It makes me feel like this should have been a rogue card.
it does feel a little like attachments and like evasion effects like this, like it's more survivor and roguey than it is mysticy, but
Like I'm not
they
mad.
are thematically it is a ritual. Like it is supposed to be more arcane.
I mean,
So,
is it though? Because it just sounds like you're climbing up a rope.
but look at the art. This is an art podcast after
Yeah,
all.
they just climbed up a rope. It's just an artistic expression of climbing a rope.
Okay. The upgraded version is is cost 0. It's level 1 but costs 0, and I think it's otherwise the same. Yeah, it is otherwise the same, which that's pretty okay. Like,
Yeah, it costing 0 makes it way more playable.
yeah, it still costs an action, but it being 0 cost makes it way more playable.
Yeah, and once again, like I've always said, I love favorable terrain, so I'm never gonna gainsay this. I just don't, it just feels like it should have been like a rogue card or something.
Sure.
But it's here, it's fine.
I do like, interestingly enough, all the rituals that this set has had.
I have two. I mostly just love seeing Ritual getting more tags.
Yep.
And for our last event, we have Snake Charming. 1 cost, Insight and Ritual traded. Commits for a Will and a Foot, Parlay. Test Will X, where X is the fight value of an enemy at your location. If the target is a creature enemy, this test gets -2 difficulty. If you succeed, automatically evade the target enemy. If you evaded a non-elite enemy, it cannot ready during the next upkeep phase.
Neat.
Yeah,
It's 1 cost. It lets you parlay will v fight
to evade.
to evade. And then if it's non elite, it can't ready, and if it's creature, which is thematically appropriate, it's easier. Yeah, I like this.
And if it's non-elite, it stuns. Yeah.
Yeah. No notes, good.
It's fine. There is a level 2 upgrade, which adds a will and makes the target, if it's a creature or monster enemy, it gets -2 difficulty. If you succeed, automatically evade the target enemy. If you succeed by 2 or more, discover a clue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's worth 2 experience.
Yeah. It's not the creature or monster is very helpful. The clue is incidentally nice. It doesn't give you a bonus, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine that it doesn't give you a bonus because you're pretty likely to hit the -2 difficulty, and then you it probably makes it way more likely you're gonna succeed by 2 to get that clue.
Yep. But like there's a good amount of stuff like creature traits hit and miss. There's a good amount of stuff with monster that you'd really want to use this on.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good
Okay.
level 2.
Yes. Moving on to the skill cards. Court Death. I was almost like Court of Death. No, it's just Court Death.
Love the
Uh,
name.
yes, the art's fun too. The it commits for it's a Gambit and Spirit. It commits for a Will and 3 Wild.
4 will.
Commit
That's nice.
Yeah, commit only to a skill test you are performing if a skull or auto fail token is revealed during this test. Take 2 damage, 2 horror, or any combination thereof. That's not bad.
No, that's not bad.
It's a
That's
lot of
just
icons.
it's just Promise of Power with a different condition.
Yep, which means it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
level
autofail with this will suck, but
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The level 2 version gets another wild. But it also gains the clause if horror and or damage is assigned by this effect, and if horror or damage assigned by this effect defeats an asset, draw 2 cards.
Neat.
Which actually gives you a reason to want to draw the skull, which I
You
kind of
know.
love. Yeah,
Once
I
again,
like it.
no notes. Solid skill.
Yep.
Ah, yes. Our stat ball skill. Misdirection is
But why isn't this expert traded at level 0?
because it's a gambit.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not important. I'm just confused.
Commits for 2 will and 2 book. The conditions are if you played an asset this round, it gets will. If you played an event this round, it gains a book.
Honestly, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
It's not bad. We do have another problem though.
What's the problem?
Misdirection is already a card.
Oh,
It's a
when
seeker.
did.
It's a seeker asset that came out in Drowned City.
Oh, okay, well, don't care.
I know. I just chuckle at it.
Yeah. Yeah. The double naming, that's neither here nor there. For the like practiced conditional effects, like I like that if you played an asset, it gives you plus will. I'm like that makes so much sense to me for mistakes where it's like you want to play your assets down, and your assets want you to use will. That makes sense. And then for the intellect, it makes sense to me for you played an event as Arturo, you get the additional intellect out of it after you make the shroud easier.
Yeah,
So
it's solid. Is all I have to
yeah.
say. And then the same thing here with the other stat balls, the other big stat ones. If you play an asset, it gains will and fist. If you play an event, it gains book and foot.
It
Which is
does
fine.
not have the expert trait, but
Yeah.
I do like this.
He's just keeping you on your toes. This was misdirection, Chad. It was meant to mislead you.
Yeah,
We
for
just, we
level
just got
1,
confused.
I think of all of these, this might be my favorite.
I still think was it was it the Guardian one?
The Guardian one,
Bravado. I think
uh,
Bravado is still the best one.
oh yeah, because it works on treacheries and enemies depending on what you drew this round. Yeah, I think it's between these two for this suite.
I would agree with you.
Um, so that said, misdirection is good. It's a lot of icons. Probably doesn't need the extra wild, but I'm
Save
just
notes as before. I'm mostly judging based on the conditions.
yeah. But like they're good skill cards.
Yeah, they're solid skill cards. They will help you succeed tests.
Mm-hmm. All right. Touch of Destiny.
Love the art.
Yes, love the art, love the name. It's an augury traded skill that commits for a single wild. When you commit Touch of Destiny, you may place one doom on an enemy or treachery at your location. If you do, Touch of Destiny gains 2 additional wild.
Hmm.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. And then level 1 Touch of Destiny, it's exactly the same, except for if you place a doom, it gets you plus 3 wild.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
All of these were stats, so they will do the thing.
They do the thing. All right, Nick, how do we feel about the Mystic cards?
I think they are generally fine. Um, there's some fun things here. There's only a couple cards that directly relate to Arturo, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. There's
There's
definitely a couple
pen-
cards that relate to the Fakir.
Yeah, like there's cards here for kind of everyone. Um, my favorite is probably still is this your card.
It's such an yeah, that's an interesting one. Um,
Impaling Swords is a good card.
Impaling Sword's real good. Prestidigitation's real good. I like Snake Charming. The Seeing Stone is interesting. Magician's
Firewalking is
Wand.
something I could do some fun things with.
Yeah. Firewalking plus Scout Ahead. Go.
Yeah, actually, was what I was thinking of. Just put it in, just do this with Safina and go wild.
Yep.
Um, especially because
There's.
you can just like if you play more than one firewalking, you get them both.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you can if you doubled it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, interesting set of cards. I don't feel like I feel like I got tools for Arturo, but I don't feel like I got like any piece that I was like, this is a cornerstone of my Arturo deck.
Yeah, quite honestly, it's unfortunate because I feel like a lot of these cards were designed like if Dexter Drake was going to be the mystic of this. Like they're all like stage magician like themed, a lot of them.
Yeah,
So like I
yeah.
feel like Arturo doesn't get a lot of flavor for himself.
The fire cards are nice,
Yeah,
but those are a handful.
yeah, but they're neat. Like the general card suite isn't neat.
Yeah. All right. We have
A
a
handful,
few more cards to talk about.
just a handful of neutral cards.
So there are two assets,
and and an event and a skill.
one event and one skill. So would you like to read the performer's costume?
Sure thing. Performer's costume, one cost. Asset, item, clothing takes up the body slot. Commits for a wild. Soaks for 1 and 1. Reaction, after you succeed at a skill test with a difficulty of 4 or higher, exhaust the performer's costume, draw a card, or gain a resource. Choose one. I don't know why it
Neat.
says choose one. Tension. Commit another copy of performer's costume to a skill test. Performer's costume gains fast. During a skill test you are performing, increase the difficulty of that test by 1.
Okay. Um like the card without the tension is fine. Like it's neat.
Yeah.
The tension is either going to be real easy or real difficult. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Just depends on if you find it, right?
Yeah. But I like it.
I don't think it's bad.
No, for a one cost level 0 neutral card that soaks for 1 and 1, yeah, that's fine.
It's
Like it
fine.
does something interesting. And it helps smooth out your economy if you keep taking difficult tests
Yeah.
and passing them.
Yeah. So if you can pass a lot of high difficulty tests, you don't need to succeed by a certain amount. You just need to win. So I would expect this to mostly be drawing you cards, but
Yep,
it's there. The level 1 upgrade just makes it soak for 2 and 2. Just sturdy your clothes.
that's fine.
Yeah. Solid. Solid
Yeah,
costume.
it's a neutral card. It's not supposed to be flashy.
Yeah. It's reasonable though.
Torch is a level 0 2 cost hand asset. Item, tool, weapon, melee. Commits for an intellect, a strength, and an agility. Uses 4 supplies, fast, during a fight, evade, or investigate test at your location. Spend a supply. Reduce the difficulty of this test by 1. So it works for anybody, and it does not exhaust. So
Yep.
you could theoretically spend all of them on one test.
Mm-hmm.
The tension ability is if you reduce the difficulty of a test to 0, which to be completely fair, does not require you to do that with this card.
True.
So if you're playing like Daryl Simmons, you could reduce the test difficulty to 0 and just trigger the tension effect on this torch.
That is a fair.
But once you've triggered the tension, torch gains fast during your turn. Discard torch, take additional action this turn. Neat.
This is one of the most busted cards I've seen.
How so?
Specifically in one man, and he breaks a lot of things. Mr. Yorick.
Oh yeah,
Will
right,
leave this card
Yorick.
wide open.
Yeah. Okay, ignoring William Yorick.
It's a fun card.
I think
It's neat.
I think this card is neat and fine and like it has a place. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think outside of the fact outside of the man that can break any kind of asset. Once again, combos with ham sandwich.
Yes.
Um,
The upgraded torch is level 2. It has 6 supplies instead of 4. It is otherwise the same.
Still good.
Still good. I mean, 2 additional supplies is not nothing.
I don't know how
It's
much I would be wanting to do it. It would not be a priority upgrade.
no.
If I was a test by zero deck, it would be the main reason I'd want the upgrade. Is this is
Yep.
a pretty easy way of doing that.
Yeah, but I do like that it just works on like the 3, like standard fight, evade, investigate.
Yeah. And it's during any of them. So it can be during like a component action as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid. This is a good card. This is a good neutral card that people will consider putting in their deck.
Yeah, it compares in an interesting and it compares and contrasts nicely with Flashlight.
Yes. For our event, we have Rising Tension. 1 cost, Gambit and Spirit traded. Commits for a wild. Fast, play at the start of your turn. Choose an asset you control with a tension effect. Immediately activate its tension result until the end of the round.
Huh.
Neat.
So it's only temporary, but it's 1 cost, activate the tension of something that you haven't activated.
That is neat.
I haven't felt that the tension effects have been overly onerous.
No, but there are some ones that are like, and there's so many of them that I can't like pull one to my mind, especially because we've been talking about them like on and
Yes.
off. But like trying to like an example
then-
is like Prybar and Survivor. Like, which isn't like the most onerous thing to do, but it could let you just straight up like discard it to discover 2 clues from a location or deal 2 damage
Sure.
to an enemy.
But like also, I think it was the Seeing Stone. You have to have 5 Doom in play, and some scenarios just don't do that.
Right.
Like this lets you kind of get around some of that limitation.
Yeah. And various other like things like that. Like there's like some good like some good things in my mind that like that you could use this for that would be useful, I guess.
I have a question for you, Nick.
Yes.
Let's say I have the Spotlight. Spotlight's real easy. Okay.
Yep.
I don't have the tension on Spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I use Rising Tension to get the +1 intellect that the tension effect or the tension result, I guess, would be the proper terminology to get the +1 intellect to help me get clues off of a location, and I discover the last clue from that location.
Yes.
do I then trigger the tension and then just get the +1 intellect always? I
Yes.
believe so.
Yes, because you trigger the tension on the thing, but you're not like the way the tension thing is supposed to be worded is that you are supposed to mark it with a token to say that the
Yep,
tension effect has been there. This isn't doing that. This is just uh getting the result into the end of the round.
sure. Cool. That's my understanding. I just wanted to make sure that it made sense to somebody else.
Yes, that is how I would assume this to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat. There is a level 2 version, which lets you choose up to 3 assets you control with a tension effect.
I mean, I acknowledge that that's better, but I don't know when I would. Like, again, I don't feel like they're overall that onerous.
I don't. I also don't know if you're gonna have that many.
You
Like,
could, but yes.
I don't know how many tension effects you're really gonna have, um, in your deck. Also, the allies' tensions are a little more finicky sometimes.
Yeah.
Getting those extra things are there, but it's here. This is one of those things whenever a gimmick is introduced that there's always a neutral card that interacts with it in a
Yeah,
way that
it needs
might be interesting.
yeah, it needs to be supported. It's just like I can see a point for the level 1 or level 0 version, level 2 version I think just like I don't know if I'm going to be having that many tension effects.
Yeah, but like this is just like bide your time or what's the one that lets you check boxes on
Refine?
refine? Just like those. That's what this is.
Yeah.
This is just more of that.
All right.
Tempt Fate
We
is
have
also
a
in that suite.
sorry, go ahead.
I say Tempt Fate is also in that support suite.
Yeah. But those are all level 0.
Yeah, but like Rising Tension is to me what fits there. I wasn't talking about the level 2. The level 2 is what it is. It's there if you
Yeah.
want.
Well, yeah, the level 0 perfectly agree that it fits exactly into that suite. I just yeah. Okay. Breathtaking. It is a Gambit and Spirits skill that commits for a single wild. It gains 1 wild for each card you control with an inactive tension result. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may place a tension token on an asset you control with a tension effect.
Oh, that's cool.
That's yeah, that's pretty nice. I like again, if there's one that you're having difficulty triggering for whatever reason, this can bypass it.
I think this is better than Rising Tension.
I was thinking that. Um, breathtaking level 1. Um, sorry, gets a wild for each card you control with a tension effect. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may place a tension token on an asset you control with a tension effect.
The difference is inactive versus just having a tension effect.
Got it. So it gets +1. The level 0 gets +1 for wild for each inactive, whereas the level 1 gets +1 wild just for if it has a tension effect, active or not.
Hmm.
And if
The
you
big
succeed
I
by
said
2 or
that
more,
what there is one
activate.
big thing is that this tension only works on assets. Which I know is where
Yes.
most tension effects are, but like Rising Tension does work on the ones that have events. Tension on events.
That's fair. Fair distinction.
Okay.
To the weaknesses?
Oh, that's right. There's a couple basic weaknesses. Okay, how many are there here? Just a couple?
There's Diffident,
Diffident.
which I had in Natalie.
Okay, so
Uh,
Diffident.
I, I wasn't specifically trying to get a circus weakness. I just got one.
Diffident is a flaw weakness. Revelation, put it into your threat area. You cannot take draw or resource actions after your first action each round. Double action to discard it.
What do you think of this?
It's fine. Because it only stops you from doing the basic actions.
It was more annoying than I thought it would be at first glance.
I would believe that for drawing.
For drawing or resources. If there was like, oh, I just have a spare action and I don't have the double action to get rid of this, it'd be really nice to get an extra resource to pay for all of the assets I'm playing, and I just can't.
Yeah, that's
It
fair.
actually, and I couldn't just like spend a turn clicking for 2. Um, I'd have to do something else or spend 2 actions to get rid of this. So it's not backbreaking, but it was more annoying than I thought it would be.
As someone who doesn't normally, who his main decks don't spend time doing those actions, it doesn't feel like it would be backbreaking for me.
Sure.
But that's just, like I said, that's what I was thinking for drawing, because I typically don't spend actions gaining resources.
Sure.
I know we play cards
Mr.
that
Moneybags.
I just like to play cards to gain resources. That's the netrunner in me. Like if I'm clicking for credits or resources, I am either stalling, like stalling out,
Yep.
and I would rather be trying to draw cards anyway. So
Yep. Next is Growing Suspense. It is a mystery traded basic weakness.
ooh,
Goes into play in your threat area. Tension. The investigation phase ends. Each test you perform during your turn gets +1 difficulty from that point onward.
I kind of
Double
like
action, get rid of it.
that's neat.
I like that. Yeah. Don't know what to say other than that's neat.
Yeah,
I do
and
like that it only hits you during your turn, not during the Mythos phase.
yeah, that's nice.
And if you draw it during upkeep, it doesn't even hurt you
Until the end of the
on your next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that it gives you a chance for the most part to get rid of it. Indecisive is the next one. It's flaw traded. Revelation goes into your threat area. Forced after you play a card, discard a card from your hand at random.
That's
a little painful.
Yeah, that's a little painful but if you're a skill focused deck, do you really care?
Yeah, if you're a skiller or you're just like a rig focused deck where you just don't really care once you get your main assets into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's generally fine. And then double action to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Reasonable.
Yeah, it's just a different variation on hitting you in a different way. I like it. Overcautious. Flaw traded basic weakness, put into play in your threat area. You cannot take fight or investigate actions as your first action each round. Ooh.
I like the flavor of it.
Yeah, I like the flavor of it. I can imagine that being annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine that being pretty annoying.
It's not backbreaking. Not gonna kill you. Just annoying.
Yeah. I like this one mostly because you're gonna be very tempted to just try and play around it
Yep.
and not just.
I was with Diffident.
Yeah, like that's also why I like that one. It's like very tempting just to play around it. Our last one, it looks like, is called Reluctant. Also flaw traded. Also Revelation goes into your threat area. Forced after you spend one or more resources, lose half that many resources. Rounded up. Rude.
Yeah, so it's the same thing, but it's the same thing as Indecisive, but for money.
Yeah.
So copy paste,
Ugh.
interesting way to interact with things.
It just means that like all of your cards are 50% more expensive.
Yep.
Ew. Ew. This is pretty much just going away right away.
I mean, to be totally fair, if you only have 2 resources and you spend 2 resources to play a 2 resource cost card, you're not
Yeah. Like nothing
losing
bad
any
happens to
money,
you. I agree with you. Like once you get down to zero, you're down to zero.
but you just
It's
can't
just like
build up.
yeah, that's more I guess what I'm trying to get at is that once you're it can be rough. Well, this of course like the other one, it will depend on your deck. So,
Yeah.
it's not like the worst thing in the world, but if you find it early, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, and if you find it late and you're in the middle of and occupied by a bunch of things, like maybe you just have to pay that 50% cost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we did it.
Oof.
Our souls are free.
Kind of feels that way. Jesus. 210 there were 210 freaking cards here.
Yep. No, I think it's a good set.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed playing with it. What I have played from it, I've enjoyed playing as Natalie,
I
going
have
through
enjoyed
this.
a lot of the cards as well that I've been playing. I love the tension I love the tension mechanic. I think it's a very
Yeah,
clever mechanic.
tension's very interesting. Um, going through the cards now, it's just like, oh yeah, excuse me, oh yeah, you could do something fun here or something fun there. This card's interesting for this reason. I It kind of makes me want to build decks out of it, which is what you want out of cards.
Yeah. So for people that don't know this aphorism, because not everyone does, there's an old saying in Magic that everything that everything is either kicker or threshold or horsemanship.
Okay, I don't know this one.
So literally, like if you look at so many effects across Magic cards, they are either horsemanship, which is a joke because it technically came first, but flying is horsemanship is just flying.
Okay,
Like uh uh kicker, which you know what kicker does. Like there's a cost to play a card, but in the effect of the card there can be an additional cost paid to get an additional effect.
yep,
Or threshold, which is there's an effect on the card, but there may be an additional effect based on whatever the a certain game state.
sure.
And Arkham doesn't have many, if at all, threshold mechanics. There are probably some, but tension is like just a straight threshold mechanic, and I kind of
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. No, I think it's quite interesting. And I like how the tension stuff. Sometimes it's modifying the primary ability and making it better. Sometimes it's a completely different secondary ability. Uh, it lets you do really interesting things with the cards and how you evaluate and use the cards. That I think it's like I kind of wish we had more of them.
Yeah, like that's what I think it always makes a good mechanic when you see it. It's like you see the tension effect, and you're like, the game needs effects like this because they're just so interesting and they fit very well.
It helps build an arc of like in the game that I have this card that has its own little side quest and it like levels up mid game.
Yeah,
It's neat.
and they can be optional, right? Where they if the main effect is just good enough, right? You don't necessarily
Yeah.
you don't need to worry about the tension effect.
Yeah, and some of the cards we looked at are the cards are good mostly because of their original effect, or the cards are good because of the tension effect, and the main effect's just kind of like fine. Like there's it runs the gambit
Mhm.
of it really you really get to see the gambit of what this mechanic can do in this set.
Yeah, he definitely like spent time with the tension mechanic on so many cards. Like you can be like, oh yeah, balancing out a lot of different like things that it can do.
Mm-hmm. So, I commend the beard for such for implementing such a mechanic so well.
Yes, I think that is the true great thing about this design, and because you just look at it and you're like, that's just cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nick. Any other final thoughts?
Uh, oh, I don't think so.
Knowing the beard, he'll send me comments as I publish these, and if he so chooses, I'm more than happy to have him on to discuss any of the cards that he would like to point out things about, or maybe that we were too harsh on, or whatever. If he wants to come on and discuss them, great. If not, no worries. Happy to do whatever.
Yeah, always love to hear comments from the creator.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if anybody wants to get in contact with me about anything, feel free to reach out to me at therestrictedcollection@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can find me around as Head Librarian Chad. Thanks, Nick, as always, for joining. And thank you all for listening.